Had to put on my captain's hat. I think audio is okay today. Let's see. So this is simplified flight sim. So we're going to start from a runway. We're going to use landing ribbons for the ILS. We're going to use taxi ribbons for those not advanced enough to have that sim and sim brief, which is what the crazy experienced flight simmers use. This is for beginner level. So we'll go through some setup process here. This is starting from the runway. I'm going to go from my Fort Lauderdale to Miami and back. So ATC help screens are on. I always set this like this. Flight director is on. You need this for autopilot. Here's your autopilot and auto thrusters. We're cleared for takeoff. Climb out to 2,000. Here's your altitude setting. You can do it like this too, just rolling on it. I'll set this to about 2100. I like a fast ascent and descent. Set this to about 2100, so this will interact with autopilot. Let's take this off, and we're going to set it to medium on approach. Altimeter setting. $29.76. Set your barometric pressure. Same thing here. So if you're just starting flight sim, this is some good stuff to know. Okay, we're on the runway. Checking control surfaces. We're good to go there. And we're going to do our climb out. You can see here's our flight path right here. So we'll leave that kind of like that. And we're going to go to the flex detent on the throttle, which will be here. And then we're going to throttle back to CL. So here we go. Oh, brakes off. That helps. Flaps are automatically set to 10. Speed brakes off. That'll come on automatically. So here we go. There's CL. Touchy on my controller. There's flex. And we're off. We can go to showcase. Cam 4. Gear up. Flaps back.
ALB 5510, contact Miami departure on 119.7. Good day.
Now we could hit the autopilot.
119.7 for ALB 5510.
You can let go of the joystick.
Miami departure ALB 5510, 1,900 feet.
Auto throttle on, two
ALB
autopilots on.
5510 Miami departure altimeter 29.76.
Speed
Continue as
brakes
planned.
set to medium. You can see
ALB
we're in the automatic
5510
turn.
climb and maintain 5,000 feet.
They want us to take 5,000.
Climb and maintain 5,000 feet ALB 5510.
Right click. That's interesting. A little dip it did there. What's going on here? What is going on? 5,000. 2,100. I must hit some turbulence. Okay, you can see we made our big turn. And we're coming out to here. We'll catch the line. Let's go down to the flight plan. Yeah, that's the standard. We'll decel after Hendon.
Overspeed. Overspeed. Overspeed.
Auto throttle went.
Overspeed. Overspeed.
That's interesting.
Overspeed. Overspeed.
I wonder why. I wonder why we're so fast.
Overspeed.
Oh, because we're still in
Overspeed.
flex.
Overspeed.
Let's go down to CL.
Overspeed. 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 Overspeed.
There's CL.
Overspeed. Overspeed. Overspeed.
That'll come down.
Overspeed. 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 Overspeed.
Won't necessarily stay on that line. It'll make a big turn down here to CL, to Hendon. Sorry. It'll come down here and then straight in. So we should be okay. All right. We are out over the Atlantic, leaving Fort Lauderdale. We'll be making a big right turn, gradual. Maybe we'll fly from Miami to Nassau today. I think Nassau has ILS in it. Yeah, it's a little turbulent. That's better. A little cloud cover to the south. Pretty clear to the north. All right, we're in the process of our turn. Let's check on everything. Here's where we are, going to Hendon. You can see it's staying right on the prescribed course. Get about a 20-degree turn going on. Right at 5,000 feet. Here's our heading. On ILS, the diamond will keep centered, and then we'll have the ball here. And we'll see these become activated on the PFD. Engines functioning nominally. We're at 5,000 as prescribed. Let's go have a look outside again. Noisy down there. Fun to watch on landing
ALB
though.
5510, you are 2 tree miles east. Maintain present heading and altitude. Expect ILS runway 27 approach via AGNDN transition.
I wonder if that's
Clear
a
to
cruise ship.
AGNDN.
Looks like one.
Maintain present heading and altitude. Expect ILS runway 27 approach via HENDN transition cleared to head ALB 5510.
That could be a cruise ship departing Miami. Alright, turn almost complete.
ALB 5510 descend and maintain 4,000 feet.
Alright, let's grab that 4,000
Descend and maintain 4,000 feet ALB 5510.
before they take it away. Yeah, looks like a cruise ship departing. That's kind of cool. Alright, we're on track. And we should have ILS here shortly. So let's go ahead and give some flaps. Hit our decel already. We're past decel. Let's get everybody sitting down and stop smoking.
ALB 5510 descend and maintain 3,000 feet.
Descend and maintain 3,000 feet ALB 5510.
You can see our deceleration and our altitude change down here in the corner. As we fly over South Bay. It's where the cruise ships depart. I've been through there. Let's get a showcase view of this. How about gear down? Yeah, maybe a little early.
ALB 5510, you are 12 miles east of Miami. Contact Miami Tower on 123.9er when inbound.
That usually indicates
Tower
we're
on
okay.
123.9er ALB 5510.
ILS switch
Miami
down
Tower
there.
ALB 551011 miles east inbound ALS runway 27 approach.
Now for simplicities, we've got the brackets.
5510 Miami Tower.
We'll now hit
29er decimal 77 wind 177 at 6.
Overspeed.
approach mode.
Cleared ILS runway 27 approach.
Overspeed.
Miami Tower
Localizer.
ALB 5510 inbound ALS runway 27 approach.
Overspeed.
I wish they would shut the hell
ALB
up.
5510 Miami Tower.
Overspeed.
Change it
Altimeter
to
29er
77.
decimal 77 wind 177 at 6.
So we switched
Cleared
altimeter.
ILS runway
God,
27
shut up.
approach.
Miami Tower ALB 5510 inbound ALS runway 27 approach.
2,500.
ALB 5510 Miami Tower. Altimeter 29er decimal 77 wind 177 at 6.
So the wind's coming from this way,
27 approach.
6 miles an hour. God, they finally
Cleared
shut up.
ILS runway
God,
27 approach ALB 5510.
I got to turn him off. All right, so anyways, ILS is activated, localizer activated, approach mode is on. Auto brake set to medium. We can put gear down now.
ALB 5510 wind 177 at 6. Cleared to land runway 27.
Cleared to land runway 27 ALB 5510.
You see we decelerated to about 156 knots. Gear down, on approach, localizer on, altimeter reset. Looks pretty smooth. cross over downtown. Watch the speed brakes come on.
1,000.
Lined up pretty nicely. Sorry, there was an awful lot of communication going on with ATC and the AI co-pilot. Now that it's quiet, I can tell you we reset the altimeter to 29.77 here and here. See, we're on final and short final, and here we come.
500.
Let's put on the speed brake view in just a moment.
$300.
You can see we have 10% flaps. This is lined up. We have butter. Oh, this is going to be good.
100.
It's off a little bit.
60. 50. 40. 30.
Speed brakes on. Whoa. Drifted off the runway a little bit. Flaps retracted. Speed
ALB
brakes.
5510 exit runway when able.
Speed brakes off. Flaps up. Yeah, it was butter till we started drifting a little bit. Because I was looking out the wrong window.
ALB 5510 contact ground on 121.8.
Going to 121.8 ALB 5510.
So now we have to manually switch to that 121.8. Of course, this is all AI at this point. We'll pull over here and stop. And we'll get taxi to gate instructions. The
Miami ground
ribbons will
ALB
come on.
5510 taxi to the gate.
ALB 5510 taxi to gate 138 via taxiway Tango, Tree Sierra, Yankee Sierra uniform, cross runway Tree 0 uniform Papa.
Taxiing to gate 138 using taxiway Tango Tree Sierra Yankee Sierra uniform, cross runway Tree 0 uniform Papa ALB 5510.
So not using VATSIM or SimBrief, this is the way to find your way to the parking. If you use those other two applications, it would be like road maps of the airport, and you do it manually. This is the beginner version, how to find your way to the gate. So you have taxi ribbon on in the options. Where is that? I'll show you. Right here, under Flight Assistant, taxi ribbon and landing ribbons are on. It's supposed to stay on the taxi line. We can zoom up here and see where we are in the airport. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Miami. Local time, 11:06. Crossing runway. Somebody was calling. cockpit view. That's good. There's a truck parked in the way. Not sure why they threw that obstacle at us as we're coming into the gate. Here comes the jetway. We will apply brakes and shut the engine off. Engines, since there's ground crew around. Master warning comes on. We turn it off. That's because the jetway was just connected. You can see we are now connected, and we have made a successful taxi to the gate. Again, that was all done using the simplified version, which would be right here in the flight assistant. And that allows you to use taxi ribbons to get to your assigned gate. Landing ribbons were on so we could see the ILS approach. As you get more experienced, you would take those off just by turning it off like that, off and on. I leave it on for practice. Okay, so let's close flight assistant. And we'll go back inside. Shut some of these things off. We don't need them on anymore, but it'll turn off automatically as soon as we handle a couple of things. Again, here's our arrival. aka MIA. Those were our waypoints on the way in. There it is. Left from Fort Lauderdale, decelerated, came around, straight in. Okay, now what we can do, you can do other things from this point, but we're just going to go ahead and do some house cleaning. Yeah, you guys can leave the plane now. To end the flight, you go to battery under the electrical panel. Battery 1, battery 2, and you turn those off. So now, we're going to go from Miami back to Fort Lauderdale. give you a full start approach. What we can do on this one is go from cold and dark. So let's go cold and dark. To go cold and dark, you don't start on a runway. You start at a parking. And we'll pick a gate that's close to a runway. Set that for departure. Then we're going to fly to Fort Lauderdale. At this point, we're going to look for low altitude ILS or IFR. Could go a high altitude also. Here's the basic initial flight path. Flying up the coast. And it's going to want us to come in here on 28R. So we'll go to approach and look for 28R ILS. And you can see what it does. This is the intended. It will probably have us come out like this and then around. In fact, I know that it'll make us make a big turn over here. And it won't look like this line. But that's the flight path. So we'll be leaving Miami. Looks like we're going to be doing a turn around like this to the right and then up. Okay, so now let's go cold and dark. Let's see what it looks like at the gate. Looks like we're live on Facebook. And YouTube. Beautiful. If you're watching, welcome. Please feel free to chat. Follow, like, share, all that good stuff. I don't know if anybody's out there, but if you are, I see one viewer, which is better than usual. Here we go. So we are cold and dark at Miami. Delta Airlines, we're going to fly to Fort Lauderdale, so let's go in the cockpit and let's start her up. How do you do that? Well, for beginners, there's lots. You can do it manually if you're experienced, but if you're novice, let's just say not beginner, you use a checklist. So we'll just go through the checklist, and we'll do the checklist using the auto features rather than go through the whole thing manually. So first, before start, and rather than go through each one of these, we'll hit autocomplete. if you go to each individual item, you'll see that it will, with the drop down, take you to where that item is. And you can do this manually, going down the list in that way. We're going to do autocomplete.
Miami clearance delivery
That's pretty
ALB
cool.
5510 ready to copy IFR clearance to Fort Lauderdale.
APUs are starting up.
ALB 5510 is cleared to Fort Lauderdale Airport as filed. Takeoff runway 12 climb and maintain 2,000 feet. Departure frequency is 125.75 squawk 202 tree.
Okay, so
ALB
checklist is now
5510 cleared to
completing.
Fort Lauderdale Airport as filed. Takeoff runway 12 climb and maintain 2,000 feet. Departure on 125.75 squawk 202 tree.
ALB 5510 readback is correct. Contact ground on 121.8 when ready to taxi. Good day.
So we can set this to 2,000 feet now, because that's what they told us for climb out. And I'll set this at, I like 2,100. I don't know why, it just seems to work pretty good. Fast altitude changes. So you can see that the checklist for before has completed. There's more housekeeping we can do in here in the meantime. I like to set that to this and that to 20. Gives us our map information. Now let's go to starting the engines. You can see the engines are stopped right now. If we look at it, there's nothing going on. But let's go ahead and hit start engine and see what happens. And we'll do the autocomplete. And we can see movement. These are going to spool up. We can look at this in another way. I think they may have given us some altimeter settings too. Let's take a look. Nothing yet. Interesting. Double checking. Okay, so engine's still not. Now we're confirmed stable. Engine stabilized. And now we can go to the after checklist. So as you can see, the checklists will make this easy. You can go through these manually. As you gain more experience, you can do that if you want to. If you want to just fly quickly, go in here and do this. After start checklist, autocomplete. This is a big mystery for beginners, how to start the jet. And this will work in a lot of the stock aircraft. Now, we're going to need the flight director on because we're going to be doing ILS. We're going to turn this on when we approach. That's your speed brakes. We can set flaps to 10% with your throttle thrustmaster. See, I set it to 10. Speed brakes are armed. Flight plan. Right here. On the MCDU. You want to see where we're going? That's our waypoints. Another way of looking at it is directly. Here's our communications, 121.8. Squawk 2023. Those set automatically. .8, Squawk 2023. I still don't see an altimeter. So since we're at the gate, let's go ahead and get ground services involved. You do that over here with ATC. I want to load up, so we'll get the jetway connected.
Miami ground ALB 5510. Could you please connect the jetway to the aircraft?
ALB 5510, the jetway is going to be connected.
So technically we're not supposed to turn the engines on until after we are pushed back, but we did it differently. We started the engines up before we were pushed back, just for instructional purposes. That's not the proper sequence. Let's get baggage service involved.
Miami ground ALB 5510. Could you please send the baggage?
ALB 5510 baggage is on the way.
So step by step. Of course, as I said, there's ground crew around, so the engines would not be on. We'll look from the front. You can see the engines are definitely up and running. Baggage being loaded.
Miami ground ALB 5510. I am done with the baggage service. Miami ground ALB 5510. Could you please disconnect the jetway from the aircraft?
So you can see I'm controlling all of that from over here in the ATC menu. We're going to request pushback, and we're going to want them to push us back this way. So that's going to be pushed back to the left, I believe. Let's just try
Miami ground
straight back.
ALB 5510 requesting pushback.
ALB 5510 pushback request accepted.
So it's going to be straight back. Wow, that's really... graphics are messing up a little bit. And the luggage door is still there. Goes the luggage bay. Okay, good. So we get pushback coming. Brakes off. If you leave the brakes on, you're not going to get any pushback. Let's see what happens if we push back to the left.
Miami ground ALB 5510 requesting pushback tug to steer the aircraft to the left.
ALB 5510,
Perfect.
your request has been transmitted to the operator.
Miami ground ALB 5510 requesting the end of pushback.
ALB 5510 request to end pushback received.
Here we are.
Miami ground ALB 5510 with Sierra ready to taxi IFR.
ALB 5510 taxi to and hold short of runway 12 via taxiway 19er, Papa Uniform Papa, November Quebec 1. Contact tower on 12.3.9er when ready.
Okay, so we're going to taxi to the runway.
Taxiing hold short runway 12 using taxiway 19er Papa Uniform Papa November Quebec 1 ALB 5510.
Out there's our runway 12. So we're going to taxi to 12. The reason these are on is because we set it for the purpose of finding the proper area. So we're ready to go. Let's go back in the cockpit. All systems are functional. Okay, we're signaling idle right now. Okay, we're going to throttle up in a moment. Brakes are off. Let's go ahead into the overhead and have cabin crew get ready. Ladies and gentlemen, the captain has turned on the no smoking and the seatbelt sign. Please be seated and prepare for departure. Mini-me. On some of the critical lighting, and we can go. Throttle up a little. Joystick axis for rudder. You can see the rudder is working okay. Let's turn around and follow the taxi ribbon. Prepared to depart from Miami to Fort Lauderdale, about a 10-minute flight. And this will take us to the end, to runway 12, where it looks like we'll be doing a west departure. A little concerned about the speed of that graphic there. Let's go ahead and do a cockpit view on this. So we're all set up, final checklist, everything's ready to go, flight director is on. We don't have an altimeter setting yet. That's pretty unusual. We'll take another look in a moment here. So at this point, I'm assuming that you are using a joystick and throttle or something similar. It's going to all be done with mouse. It's a little more difficult. It can be done on the keyboard. It's more difficult. I'm using the Thrustmaster joystick and throttle, which is really cool. I just can show a picture of it. There we go. That's the Thrustmaster. I've been called the Thrustmaster from time to time. Not recently. All right, we're coming to the turn for the runway. We're going to hold short, get clearance. Flaps are set to 10. We'll do a control surfaces check on the runway. I guess that's not our hold short point.
Miami Tower ALB 5510 at runway 12 ready for departure IFR to Fort Lauderdale.
ALB 5510 altimeter 29.78 wind 182 at 4. Cleared for takeoff runway 12.
Cleared for takeoff runway 12 ALB 5510.
There's our 2978. They finally gave it to us. And we can proceed. And we're pretty much ready to go. Alright, for novice flight sims, I'm using the center screw here to line up. And I'll demonstrate the flex takeoff. I'll do one or two more things here real quickly as soon as we line up. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Let's do one or two more things here. First of all, camera. We're going to turn camera to showcase mode. We're going to get a view from down below on takeoff. It's really cool. And we're ready to go, folks. Cabin crew, prepare for departure. Let's make sure that our seatbelt signs are on. Everybody's on. No smoking sign on. Let's do this. I'll switch to showcase after we rotate. So we're going to go flex. So we're going to go right to here and then back to CL. After we get altitude, we'll turn the autopilot on. Try to stay centered on the runway if you can. V1 is about 145. We can rotate. Positive climb, 10%. Let's go outside. Gear up. Flaps retract.
ALB 5510, contact Miami departure on 125.75. Good day.
And now we can go to autopilot.
Going to 125.75 ALB 5510. Miami departure ALB 5510 is at 1,800 feet, climbing 2,000 feet.
ALB 5510 Miami departure altimeter 29.78. Continue as planned.
There's our turn.
ALB 5510 climb and maintain 4,000 feet.
Climb and maintain 4,000 feet ALB 5510.
There's our altitude selection. For me, that's a right click. I'm sure there's other ways of doing it. And away we go. South Beach.
Overspeed. Overspeed.
So that means we need to put the auto throttle on.
Overspeed. 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 Overspeed.
Both autopilots.
Overspeed. Overspeed.
And take
Overspeed.
this back to CL.
Overspeed. 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 Overspeed.
South Beach.
Overspeed. Overspeed. Overspeed.
Great realism. Good job, NVIDIA. And by the way, NVIDIA's up like 29% today on the market. Okay, we're on our way. You can see we're not on that path directly. We're heading to the waypoint, which is right here. Carnival, then Fuzzy. So let's go have a look at that. In the flight plan, on the MCDU, there's Carnival. We'll do a deceleration. It's programmed in. And of course, this is done when you make the selection of the ILS course.
ALB 5510, you are 16 miles southeast. Maintain present heading and altitude. Expect ILS runway 28 right approach via Fusey transition.
Okay.
Clear to Fusey.
Clear to Fusey, 28 right.
Maintain present heading and altitude. Expect ILS runway 28 right approach via Fusey transition. Cleared to Fusey ALB 5510.
So you can see we're going to come out this way.
ALB 5510, you are 17 miles southeast of Fort Lauderdale. Contact tower on 119er decimal tree when inbound on the approach.
And make that big turn at Carnival and then
Tower on
Fusey.
119er decimal tree ALB 5510. Tower ALB 5510, 17 miles southeast inbound ALS runway 28 right approach.
ALB 5510 tower. Altimeter 29er decimal 78, wind 137 at 4. Cleared ILS runway 28 right approach.
Cleared ILS runway 28 right approach ALB 5510.
Wind is coming from this way at 4 miles an hour. Pretty light. You can see we've hit some weather. This is live weather, by the way. That's what it looks like over Florida right now. It's probably a little bit more sunny due to their governor's announcement. Okay, so we're heading to the CRN-NVL. I'm going to say it's a Carnival. Carnival turn and then the Fusey transition. We haven't started our turn yet. We are in weather. Let's have a look at that in the showcase view. Ah, pretty cool. Here's all our help screens. We can turn this one off now. We don't need this anymore. That was how we got our cold and dark using the checklist. Aircraft was cold and dark when we got in it. We fired it all up. You can do it manually. We use the auto feature. So it makes you able to get up in the air quicker. Next flight, I'm going to set some air traffic into it too, so you can see the delays that are caused. And this is instructional today. ILS. It's a big mystery. If you're starting this and you don't know how to do it, there's a couple of key features that we've already run through. We have the ribbon set for novice. Right here. So we will see landing ribbons approach when ILS is turned on. That'll guide us in. If you're not a novice, you don't need those. You don't need them anyway, but it's good to know and verify that you're in the pattern. I've had mixed results with the localizer being on or off. Any questions about how this occurs, feel free to reach out. Message me on Facebook or Albtunes, ALBTUNES. You can chat on the online chat if you have questions. If you're joining us on a feed. Alright, we're in our turn. As you can see here. Let's zoom out a little bit. Here we are in our turn. Decel is already occurring. Still in our turn. Weather's cleared a little bit. You can see the curvature today. A little more pronounced turn. We are on autopilot 1. Autopilot 2 and auto throttle. We can now activate auto brakes to medium. That seems to be more than sufficient on landing. That'll provide pretty good speed brakes on the runway. You can use it in flight too to slow down if you're flying manually. Okay, let's go back outside for a moment. $29.78, let's check that. Yeah, we're good. $29.78 on the BP. Again, we use the center screw on the cockpit dash for lineup. It's a good indicator for lining up. Autopilot should do it for us today. So what we're going to see when we hit autopilot ILS on with approach mode, we're going to see the diamond here for up and down on the glide slope, and the ball here for heading. And hopefully these will activate. Let's keep an eye on that when the ILS is turned on. Which we'll get when we hit the fusee transition. Feel free to use the chat feature. If you're out there, say hi. Don't be shy. Wind is coming from 137 at 4 miles an hour. So coming a tailwind coming from the left. Okay, we're at the transition. Should level out. Another ship down there. Yeah, that's that cruise ship from earlier. Made it all the way up the coast. Maybe it's another one. Going the wrong way. Bahamas is this way. All right. Let's see what happens here. We passed the fusee transition. They still haven't given us any altitude change. I'm going to get ready for it because I know it's about 3,000. We can apply flaps. Flaps 10.
Overspeed. Overspeed.
All right, there's our brackets.
Overspeed. Overspeed.
So let's get this set
Overspeed.
now. ILS.
Overspeed. Overspeed.
Approach mode on.
Overspeed. 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 Overspeed.
Localizer
Overspeed.
on. Not to worry about the
Overspeed.
overspeed thing.
Overspeed. Overspeed. Overspeed.
It's
Overspeed.
decreasing. So let's drop gear.
Overspeed. Overspeed.
Plenty, no communication from
Overspeed.
the tower.
Overspeed.
ALB 5510, wind 137 at 14. Clear to land runway 28 right.
Clear to land runway 28 right, ALB 5510.
Okay, that turned itself off for some reason. Looks like we're tracking good. That one view looked like we're high. We're okay. Yeah, this does look high. I think we're okay though. Short final. So ILS was activated. Approach mode is on. Localizer is on. Autopilots are armed with speed brakes set to medium. That's a little better. Get a speed brake view here in a moment.
One thousand. $500.
Yeah, we're almost there. Let's get that. Let's see the speed.
400. 300. 200.
Coming in hot. Hot and high.
100. 60. 50. 40. 30. 20. Retard 5.
Okay, not bad. And we can retract the speed brakes. And let's take this taxiway here. See where we are.
ALB 5510 contact ground on 129.875.
Going to 129.875 ALB 5510. Ground ALB 5510 request taxi to the gate.
ALB 5510 taxi to gate 112 using taxiway Bravo 4 Bravo Echo Quebec Golf November Tango 8.
Taxiing to gate 112 via taxiway Bravo for Bravo Echo Quebec Golf November Tango 8 ALB 5510.
And you can see that we are set up for taxi with the ribbon. Again, this is a novice function if you don't have SimBrief or Navigraph, which would be maps and charting for navigation purposes. So let's go ahead and follow the taxi ribbon. Control surfaces. I guess they work, huh? Should have done that before. I'll leave it in the external view for parking purposes. Alright. This is Hollywood Fort Lauderdale Airport. We came in from the east. We can retract flaps now. You can see they're all the way extended. Now it looks like they're going to take us way out there. Let's go here to the airport view. They're going to take us over there. Right turn and a left. Maybe just a left turn. Cockpit view. Again, using the center screw there on the dash. Now we're fairly close to the gate. Wow, where the hell are they taking us? Little rain. Let's go in this way, rather than do all those weird turns. Brakes on. I'll show you where they are. Park brakes. Also controlled from the throttle. Jetway not connected yet.
Ground ALB 5510, could you please connect the jetway to the aircraft?
ALB 5510, the jetway is going to be connected.
Turn that off when the jetway is connected. We can turn some of the systems off now. And the engines, because there's ground crew close by. You want to see those spool down? That's interesting, it just shut down. Huh. Okay, so when you're in cold and dark start, if you turn the engines off, it'll end the stream. Or it'll end the flight. Okay, so that was cold and dark from Miami to Fort Lauderdale, or Fort Lauderdale to Miami. I forget which. Yeah, Fort Lauderdale. Cool. Okay, we'll pick this up a little bit later today. Thanks for joining.